Hi. Today we are here to speak about a very heart-wrenching experience that many of us do go through, and this is in honor of my baby Banshee, who was with us only 6 short years. We lost her last Thursday. So, welcome to Mindful Monday. This is what to do or what you can do when dealing with the loss of a pet, a fur baby, basically. So let me first start out by saying, if it's your first time joining us, usually we talk about happier things. I will do my best to not become too emotional, but you never know. I also did not look up Banshee's brothers and sisters, so we might have guests because they're grieving too, so I didn't want them. That could be dangerous. We could have a comedy routine and they like to play with the camera. Um, Also, if it is your first time joining us, feel free to type in the comments, where you're coming from, if you have anything you'd like to say or ask, or topics you'd like to hear covered. If it's your first time joining, you can also type the word mindful after the broadcast. I'll come back, put a link where you can get a copy of a free recording on releasing limiting beliefs, as well as our weekly PDF, which are simply bullet points of what we cover here today. So let me also start out by saying that what we are talking about grief and loss. I am by no means an expert. I'm not licensed mental health counselor, grief counselor, or anything. They are out there, even when it comes to the loss of pets. But I will tell you some of the things that I do know that have been helpful and that I have been using. So basically, one of the things that's very, very good to do is to just allow yourself to feel and express your feelings. So there's this quote that I used this week and I love it. And it's whatever comes, we let it be as it is. When we do this, we come to see in this moment or in the next. Our emotions are always moving. The word emotion has its roots in the Latin movere and emovere, meaning to move through and to move out. Our emotions move in us, move through us, and move between us. And when we allow them to move freely, they change, perhaps scarcely and perhaps gradually, but inevitably. This is grief's most piercing message. There is no way around. The only way is through. And that's a quote by Joanne Cacciatore. So you really do need to allow yourself some time to have those feelings. And sure, sometimes we have to work or other things, require us to kind of temporarily stuff down those emotions. And so I taught all this weekend at the Institute of Interpersonal Hypnotherapy. And so when we have to stuff these emotions, sometimes grief kind of shows up physically. And so uh, when we have this kind of physical sensation kind of thing, if we let it go too long, it might show up as tension, it might show up as pain. It can even lead to injury if we don't take care of it soon enough. So you do need to do some self-care to get that out. Some stretching, doing yoga, of course, massage is lovely. Of course, some of these things can be time consuming. I understand that. However, you can also give yourself abhyanga, which is an Ayurvedic term for self massage, a self oil massage. It's recommended doing daily. You use coconut oil, sesame oil, almond oil, something very, and you just rub it in all over your body. So that is a very affordable type of self care as well that can be done anytime and by yourself too. Um, Other things that you can do. I'm also blessed, I will say, to have this wonderful friend and chiropractor, Dr. Catherine Alexander, here in Tampa. And I taught all weekend. She came over on my short little lunch break, brought her table, and did an adjustment. So, chiropractic is also an amazing tool. And thank you, Dr. Catherine. Let's see, what else do we have? You definitely want to also move your body, whether it be going for a walk. I force myself on some of my shorter breaks to just go for a quick walk on the beautiful property here outside in nature to help ground and to, you know, see the beauty of the outside world as well. Sometimes you need to push yourself to do this because I gotta tell you, I did not feel like going for a walk. I felt like crawling in bed, even if it was for 5 minutes and hiding my head and crying. So sometimes you do have to push yourself to move the body. And when we have a powerful emotion or a trauma, if you will, oftentimes it gets stuck in kind of one of the hemispheres of the brain. And then we as humans, what we typically do is we think or even say in our minds what's happening or what we're feeling. I'm so sad, over, even if it's silently over and over in our minds. really just kind of creating a stronger painful neural pathway. It's human nature, we do it. But being aware of that, and then we can tend to feel stuck or frozen. So movement is bilateral stimulation. So even just going for a short walk is going to activate both hemispheres of the brain, and it helps to move emotion through and out. So that was very useful and is very useful. Um, let's see what else. Oh, and walking, exercising, yoga, all those things, of course, they also do release the feel good neurotransmitters and endorphins. So double yay for that. We've talked in other Mindful Mondays, so I won't review it all because it would take too long for the purposes of today. EFT or tapping is also very useful, and that's a pretty quick thing to do as well. Spending time in nature, even if it's not that walking, but just getting outside, you could sit there, you could journal, maybe you want to meditate, or you can do art projects. That can all be great. My partner, he made a beautiful slide, my fiance, I should say, he made a beautiful slideshow of our Banshee, and we posted that. So we all grieve in different ways, and we all have processing in different ways. And talking with others who are going through or have gone through the same thing can also be very useful as well. But remember, if it's family, we do grieve in these different ways. So you have to kind of understand that and be on board with that as well. So Elizabeth Kubler-Ross said that there are 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Yet know that grief comes in waves or cycles, so you can skip through or bounce back and go in and out of all of these in all different time periods and move back and forth for a while, basically. uh, and there are support groups out there. There's even some free ones on Facebook, which can be helpful. Helping others is also very useful. I'm now in the process of becoming a support person and moderator for a private Facebook group that was helping with Banshee and her illness. So that is rewarding to me. I do keep her collar with me, so she's always with me and her photo as well. um let's see, my favorite actual healing process especially is hypnotherapy and breath work. Not the relaxing kind of breath work that you might be thinking, although taking deep breaths can be helpful as well, but either hypnotic or neurodynamic breath work where you're kind of over breathing. So you're deoxygenating. It's kind of like hyperventilating. So you're deoxygenating the brain, alkalizing the blood, which is actually very healing. It helps you to get pretty quickly in touch with emotions, beliefs, kind of things. And it's an expanded state of consciousness, if you will. And so this weekend, we didn't have enough students in my group, so I allowed the students to do a breathwork session on me that was actually very, very healing. I wrote about it online, so I won't talk too much about it, but basically it quickly brought up those emotions, beliefs about the loss of our dear Banshee. And I was downstairs in my hypnosis office on my recliner with my big floor pillow, which is for pounding or squeezing or crying. And so I was quickly crying, even yelling a little bit, maybe a little pounding on the pillow. So you're getting all that emotion out of your mind, your soul, and your physicality. And then, when you release it, they helped me to then do a beautiful gestalt, which is basically a conversation with Banshee herself, who told me all kinds of beautiful things. And it was an amazing, amazing experience. So I hope this brings you some peace and some comfort. Losing a pet, especially a young one, is heart-wrenching. And I know many people just don't get it. I had actually another hypnotherapist comment on one of my Facebook pages saying how unprofessional I was that I canceled Mindful Monday because I had to take Rush Banshee to the vet a few weeks back. And of course, they're now blocked. But some people just don't get it. Most of you who are watching, I know you do get it. So I just want to tell you that I'm here for you if you need me, and I do offer sliding scale work as well if you actually need a session and you're going through something like this, because this is something that is dear to my heart. And that would be, of course, in honor of Banshee, and also in honor of Banshee. Hug your fur babies today, please. Now, moving on, I did promise to do the hypnotic trance. So if you're driving or operating heavy machinery involved in childcare, perhaps you come back and watch this at another time. But I wrote this meditation or hypnotic trance, if you will, a few years ago when we lost our 23-year-old Siamese cat. So basically, if you're watching at a time when you can safely relax, then I'm going to invite you to get comfortable in your body. And then you're going to roll your eyes, just your eyes up. Focus your eyes on one spot high up on the ceiling or the wall. And take a nice big breath in as you stare at that spot. And then exhale and think to yourself, relax now. Good. And again, breathing in, staring at your spot. And exhaling to relax now. And one more time, staring at that spot, big breath in, fill those lungs all the way. Exhale and again, think relax now. Good. And you can breathe normally now and continue to stare at your spot as I begin to count backwards from 5 down to 1. When I get to the number 1, simply allow your eyes to close down, turn loose, and let go. So 5, focusing all of your attention on that spot as if nothing else matters. 4, eyelids beginning to get heavy and droopy, drowsy and wanting to close now. 3, being right here, right now in this present moment. On 2, another big breath in, fill those lungs all the way. And on 1, exhale and simply allow your eyes to close down, turning loose, letting go. That's right. Good. Now I'd like you to bring your attention to your eyelids, and as you do, you can feel them becoming very, very heavy. Imagine as if your eyelids are so heavy. It's as if they are sealed down, tightly closed. Imagine as if your eyelids are so heavy. It's as if they are sealed down, tightly closed. Imagine as if your eyelids are so heavy that they just do not want to work. Now I'd like you to pretend, just pretend, as if you were to try and open your eyes. And when you find that they are so heavy, they just don't want to open, then stop trying and go even deeper. Now to help you go even deeper, I'm going to begin to count backwards from 10 down to 1. And let each descending number just take you deeper and deeper into relaxation. And so 10, going down and down and down. 9, deeper down, deeper down, deeper down. 8, more relaxed, more relaxed, more relaxed. 7, letting go, letting go, letting go. 6, more within, more within, more within. 5, drifting, drifting, drifting. 4, down, down, down. 3, body asleep, mind awake, body asleep, mind awake, body asleep, mind awake. 2, deeper down, deeper down, deeper down, and on 1, all the way down. That's right. Good. And here you can just drift and float. There's no way for you to do this wrong. You know, I often wondered what it would be like to get to the end of a rainbow. And not necessarily because I expected to find a pot of gold exactly, but I did imagine it might be something very special to find. And indeed, it does seem like you are almost always almost there, doesn't it? And I wonder if you've ever noticed, perhaps while driving, only to find you haven't really seemingly come any closer to that end that seemed so close before. It's as if the end of the rainbow just picked itself up and moved a little farther away every time you think you're almost there. Isn't it so? And you know, the end of the rainbow became even more meaningful to me a little while ago when my beloved 23-year-old Furbaby made her way across that rainbow bridge. And there would be times, weeks later, when I thought I'd be okay, only to come across something that would remind me of her and send me into waves of grief all over again. That is until one day when I was making this one long holiday drive, and there was lots of traffic and inclement weather and raindrops splashing and spraying, pattering and splattering everywhere, the flick-flack of the wiper blades, hum of the car engine, and that heavy feeling the air seems to only have or take on during a storm. The mists that magically trail behind all the other vehicles on the road. And then there was a sudden clearing, as there so often is in those seasonal storms down here. A sudden opening up of the sky where the sun bursts forth even if it is still raining. Almost as if just to prove to you that it does still exist, that there is light even in the dark, another way to look at things. A knowing sense that all things do cycle and change and transform. And on this momentous day, there would be a series of several, 4 to be precise, full and beautiful rainbows on this one stretch of the road. One more amazingly vibrant than the next. And as I saw that first one, the Rainbow Bridge poem and the visions of my Furbaby swirled through my mind. And that familiar warmth in my heart when I think of her, followed by the pit in my stomach when I remember she's no longer with me. And then it happened. I actually drove up to and through the end of a rainbow for the first time ever. And not just once, but several times, over and over again. And it was, can you believe, even better than finding that pot of gold. Over and over finding that. There was a certain sense of electricity and a shimmering in the air. You could almost see each and every particle of matter vibrating, and everything took on a surreal and beautiful luminescence, a radiancy that certain photographers might call that magic hour of lighting, something that is rarely glimpsed for more than a fleeting moment in a special sunset, or maybe in a famous painting by one of the truly great artists, like, I don't know, Monet or Van Gogh, perhaps. And it really was amazing because this lasted for nearly an hour, this beauty. And while I drove through it, I was reminded of the brightness of my beloved one's eyes and how she always looked up to me. The way she curled up and tilted her head and all of our times together. The sweet silkiness of her fur and the soft, delicate scent of her fur that I used to put my nose into because it reminded me of my favorite childhood scent of new ballet slippers for some weird reason. The unmistakable sound of her voice whenever I would return home at the end of the day. And it was as if she was there with me in the end of the rainbow, looking down on me, holding me in that 1 hour of embrace of magical light and energy, telling me and showing me that everything was okay, that the Rainbow Bridge is everywhere and all throughout time, that I only need to close my eyes to enjoy those same memories, which only reminded me of yet another rainbow connection. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. So I know I can always close my eyes and click my heels and say there's no place like home, and to remember that there is somewhere over the rainbow for all of us. That Rainbow Bridge, a place where time does and will bend for you and for me and for all of us. For now, I know my Furbaby is telling me she is okay. And just as I told her, in the end, she is now telling me, Mom, go play, I'm okay. It was similar with Banshee coming to me the other day too, saying that only humans know time and space and guilt, and that my little warrior told me that I'm a warrior too, and that I should do this in her name. Now, because of the work you've done here today, from now on, whenever you are reminded of your Furbaby, your thoughts will immediately go to all of those pleasant memories. And because there were so many, you will be able to focus more and more on those happy thoughts, perhaps anchoring them in now. Banshee told me to place my hands on my heart, take a breath in, and say, always there. And I don't know if that works for you or if you have another thing you'd like to do. But if there is a way that you would like to anchor this in, maybe one hand on your heart, maybe two, name this feeling, or just say always there or no place like home, you can take a nice deep breath in, exhale, and think or say your word or phrase. We'll do that again. And one more time. And you can relax your breathing and you can relax your hands, but know that from this point forward, if you would like to call these feelings back at any point in time, you can do what you did with your hands, take a big breath in, exhale, and think or say your word or phrase. And all of these feelings, excuse me, will come rushing back to you just as strongly and just as powerfully as you're experiencing them right now. And not because I said so, but because this is a resource state you and your fur babies and this subconscious mind has created using hypnosis. And because of this work, you know that these happy thoughts can fill you up. And you move forward with more ease and more peace each and every day, allowing this healing energy to fill you up. That's right. And see yourself moving forward, remembering all of the happy times, remembering them and anchoring them and feeling the love you shared and allowing it to fill you up more and more as you move into your own healing rainbow light of the day by day, knowing your loved one is always with you, always there, and free of all suffering and wanting the same for you until you reunite at the other end of the rainbow. That's right. Good. Now in just a moment, I will be helping you to come out of this hypnotic state. I'll be doing so by counting from 1 to 5. When I get to the number 5, you'll be back to your full and regular waking consciousness, feeling clear-headed, present, and more peaceful and ready to go about the day. And so on number 1, coming back more and more now to the sound of my voice, feeling like you've just had a nice little nap. And 2, feeling good about yourself, the world, and everyone in it. Returning gently now to the body, knowing you can return to this state anytime you wish, and each and every time you practice hypnosis or self-hypnosis, you'll go faster and deeper and have more powerful results. On number 3, beginning to breathe and move and stretch. And you know you can remember anything you want to remember, and remember to let go of anything you don't need to remember all of it. On 4, coming back more and more now, feeling rested and refreshed as if though fresh spring water just rushed across your eyes and face. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, coming all the way up, wide awake, back right here and now to your full and regular waking consciousness. Feeling more peaceful and knowing your baby is always there. Thank you for watching, and thank you for honoring our baby Banshee again. Thank you to Caring Paws, Dr. Danielson, for the compassionate care they gave. Thank you to Mandy, for my friend Mandy, for giving me support and courage to do this broadcast here today. And thank all of you for your kindness and compassion. I hope this has been useful to you. Have a great Mindful Monday.